Greetings, Gnorps, and welcome back to the Gnorp Apologue, where today we're going to be checking out a new building, the Shrine, and all of the secrets that it might hold. Well, at least some of the secrets, because some of them get unlocked further in 2 prestige points time. But just to cover the new things that we've picked up, we've taken Vulnerability Empowerment. So our vulnerability inflicted on the boulder by rockets will be twice as damaging, and also will cause the boulder to give back shards it's reclaimed. Also, arrows last hurrah, so our directors, when they get down off the boulder, will return some arrows. Also, arrows that were previously brittle are no longer going to be the case, so arrows created by future to the back. We've got return to sender over here. Suck arrows can be returned by the directors. However, the consequence of this is that we're not going to have 1 out of every 3 arrows being returned, but 1 out of 20. Now, it has been pointed out that rocket arrows probably don't leave arrows. Very sad about that, but we'll see how we can do regardless. We've also, of course, got access to the Shrine, which is the new building, and we'll be checking that one out as we go. But with that all said and done, let's go ahead and start getting things going. Right, but first and foremost, let's get all of these shards into the stash. We want to have about 100 or so. That will do. Just push these ones in there as well. There we go. Nice and easy. Right, so the first thing, we want the Express, and we want the House of Shards, and then we want auto housing to be turned on. We are going to want a couple of runners. Let's go ahead and grab 5 of them for now. I wouldn't mind increasing their capacity, if I'm perfectly honest, so let's go ahead and push that one all the way up to 4. I would like to get it up to 5 if I can, so I'm just going to help out a little bit more. Shifting all of these along, that should be enough. There we go. Up to 5 capacity for our 5 runners. Now, we've got the House of Shards. Now, the Shrine, as you can see down there, 1 million shards, so that's going to be a little ways off for us to get to, unfortunately. The first thing we want to unlock is always going to be the Rock Analysis Lab, the Cocoa Cafe, and then the Gnorp Propulsion Lab, followed by Archery or Gun vs. Rock, whichever one we can get to first. But you've seen me do this before, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip forward until we've got the basics all set up. I will bring you back once we're all settled in and ready to go. Okay, slight deviation from my original plans. In the same way that we're skipping over the slammers, you know what? I think we're going to skip over the Cocoa Cafe. I don't think we really need to have any mountaineers this time around. So we're going to immediately go in for, well, we'll go for 8, but ultimately I want to try and get up to 10 bombers there. Going for the rocket arrows early on might be a decent one. Let's just have a quick check. It does not leave an arrow behind. That is such a shame. I'm very, very sad about that, but oh well, I guess that's fair. It would be a little bit too broken otherwise. We don't want it to be too broken. Right, okay, so we've got our bombers in place, and you know what? We're immediately going to go for time shift impact. Let's get those runners moving a little bit faster. I still want to call them carriers. I mean, it's what they do, though. We could go ahead and get all the way up to a 10 capacity. That should keep this on the move. There we are. Nice. And now that we've got the popcorn, I think it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, popcorn. We've got fire damage spreading the shards very, very far forward. We are probably going to hit our first compression event very quickly as a consequence of this. Do I want more runners right now, or do I want to focus more on capacity? You know what? Let's go for speed. I think that would be a decent one, though. That being said, sure, we'll go for another 5 runners as well. That should help out over here a little bit. Right, we want to grab weak spots, and now that we've got weak spots, I want my bombers to be able to hit said weak spots. There we go. That is doing a fantastic job. And we want a couple more bombers besides. Let's go all the way up to 15 as quickly as we can. Oh, my lord. We are going to have a compression event on our hands very, very quickly, I should imagine. We are almost up to the point of getting the guns going. So Gun vs. Rock is right around the corner. We've already got the Academy, the Garden. They're all showing up. Someone actually mentioned that the Hulks, if you get the right upgrades on them, they actually become quite powerful collectors, and that has intrigued me. I'm very, very tempted to find out just how powerful collectors they can become. Right, Gun vs. Rock, let's get you on the go. Actually, we are going to need the Cocoa Cafe for one reason. Even though we're not going to have any actual mountaineers, we want it so that we can give the runners the break. I hadn't considered that, but that is actually a good call. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll grab it. I'm not going to get any Mountaineers. I don't need any Mountaineers, so that should be fine. Right. I would like a Rifle Gnorp, and I would like them to be firing fire arrows, of course. I would also like to get ice arrows, so let's get the ice arrows on the go, and let's help out our little balloon over here. So there we are. We'll just bring it to more or less just below the balloon there. Right, now that's given us break time. Perfect, that's what we need. Now, we've got a good amount of collection to go. Let's go ahead and increase the capacity up to 15 is good, but I would really like to get her all the way up to 20 if we could, but this will just have to do for now until we can get break time on the go. Would have been great if I could have gotten that going before the first compression event, since, you know, that just gives us double the amount of carrying capacity that much sooner, but this will do for now. Right, on top of that, I would like more Rifle Gnorps, frankly, but it's going to take a little bit to get there. What I can do, though, is let's get the balloon gunner, so you can head straight back out there. We are going to want to get rocket arrows, because now the balloon gunner can do that. So let's get rocket arrows on the go. And that should start contributing very quickly. We're already moving on to our next compression event, which is actually rather wonderful straight away. I can't believe it. Well, I can believe it, actually. It's planned for it, in fact. Right, we're going to take our capacity all the way up to 20. We're a little ways off from getting speed. We'll get the Geet protocol long before then, I should imagine. Also, we're going to want to get the upgrade for our housing as soon as we can. We're already starting to see the other rockets here. Right, let's bring the Zybe a little bit closer. Getting a lot better now at getting this over here. Of course, I've said that, so I'm probably going to mess it up. No, that's close enough, I think. Right, that will do. And with the next one, we are, of course, going to be going for a Gattle Gnorp. We'll already get the grenade launcher, so that we'll start getting the weak spots regenerated that much faster. We've got enough to be able to pop down a Rifle Gnorp or two. In fact, and I'm not against that. Let's get 2 Rifle Gnorps out there. That's perfect. Right. Is there anything else I particularly want to go for? We could get weak spot frequency, sure. Getting the garden up and running early on mightn't be a bad move, but I think this one's fine for now. Let's get a Gattle Gnorp out there. Getting 2 Gattle Gnorps, I'm not sure we're ever going to get to those lofty heights, but we'll have to have a watch for that, I suppose. There is Abelium arrows, of course. I'm not sure we're going to be getting those until maybe the next prestige or the one after that, depending. The curious power of Zybelium manifested in the humble arrowhead. Zybe arrows spawn lingering energy, resulting in a 3 times multiplier to the next 5 damage instances. Zybe arrows deal no damage and leave behind no arrows. Now, the thing about that is I'm wondering if this was with Frozen Solid, it's storing damage. So Zybe arrows would potentially cause the frozen discharge to be 3 times as powerful. If you combine that with vulnerability and puke, you're going to be doing absolutely staggering amounts of damage from that. And something I would be very, very keen to see happen, frankly. We're already up to, going on to collection of 191k a minute, which is actually quite nice. We need to get the YX-1AB rocket system up and running. We've got enough Gnorps for that, I think. Should we get a couple more bombers? Or do we want to go for... Well, we're not doing housing yet. We've got to wait until this is built up a little bit more before we get more housing, I think. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. I could just go for speed. But let's go ahead and get the rockets on the go. We know we want it. So there we go. The rockets are ready to launch. The next up, I wouldn't mind getting the speed, though. Right, the next Zybelium is going to be used for making the rocket cause vulnerability. Of course, that's a very, very big thing. Do we want to push out any more going on here? I mean, I could increase capacity, but I don't really think that's necessary. Right, there we are. The Zybelium has been brought in. So vulnerability it is. There we go. Now, it's going to take a little while before we get to the point that we are causing vulnerability. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. Look at that vulnerability. Oh, my lord. There we are, already causing vulnerability. That is absolutely fantastic. Look, we've already got another compression event. Really? Well, I guess so. All right. Let's go ahead and get another Rifle Gnorp, I think. Is there anything else we want to do around here? I don't really think so. Maybe getting a couple more Gnorps. Do we need Ultra Boost? I really don't think we do. I would like more bombers, though. More bombers is more timey-wimey shenanigans. Let's also help out a little bit more. Let's bring this in. There we go. Coax successfully 20 times in a row. Oh, well, that's quite nice. I wasn't aware that there was any expected unlocks compared to that. So, yeah, achievements. I think we're going to go for the garden. And I am really, really quite tempted to see what an upgraded Hulk will do. The problem is that there is no way a Hulk is better than the Puke, and I can't imagine a Hulk is better than a Director, so I am tempted to have all three, but that means I'm not going to be getting any of them in particular, in a particularly predictable rate. It's going to kind of be all over the place. We'll see how it goes, though. But let's get the Geek Protocol up a little bit more as well. Yeah, we can afford to do that just before we get the garden ready to go. We're almost there already. And you know what? Since that Zybe is coming in, we'll be able to use that to upgrade the flower production straight away. That is actually very, very nice indeed. Very, very nice indeed. Right, we've got a certain little something over here. You may have noticed. We'll get back to that in a moment. Right, okay, so I guess we're just going to allow all three of them. Sure, that's fine. We'll wait for the Zybe to come in and get flower power on the go. We're already starting to get the compression level up. We're at compression tier 6 of 10 there. We need 1 million, and we're not far off that. We're collecting 791k a minute right now. That is really not very far away. But let's go ahead and get the increased flower power. There we are. We'll see all of them head on down there. Now, we want singular shockwave. Hulks jump at additional time. The shockwave generated by the Hulks have an additional power of 40% for the damage dealt in the last minute. Not affected by the multiplier. Now, that is where the shockwave is going to really start generating things. Wow, look at this huge line of Gnorps just waiting to get in there and get their Gnorp juice. Okay, fair enough. Right, we're at 1 million. Let's go ahead and unlock the shrine. Now, the shrine, where are you going to end up? Where is the shrine going to be built? It's going to be built all the way over here. So we've got this conspicuous area down here. Now, if we have a look at the shrine, find the chosen one. Gnorp legends speak of an extra strong Gnorp that can pull the sword embedded from the stone. There we go. We have sent off our priests to find the chosen one. They will regularly attempt to yoink the sword from the stone. This is going to take some doing. Unfortunately, most of them will fail. Yep, as we saw there. Failure to launch. Sorry, but it is the way it is. Now, it takes a little while for them to do this. I'm not sure if it's just purely random or if it's attached to some other timing. Maybe it's attached to the compression event or something like that. But for now, yeah, we're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait until the chosen is discovered. We're not far off a compression event, though, which I'm quite happy with, and we're already up to another 1 million over there. Let's have a quick gander. We need 2.3 million to get the Gattle Gnorps. I would like to invest 900k to get concentration on our bombers, though. Let's get them on the go. And do we want more bombers? Probably not just yet. We want to wait for more housing to be built. In fact, I'm going to push our limit a little bit more. Let's push that all the way up there. Additional housing is on the way. Of course, we want to cause another compression. My God! Okay. The directors have done a pretty solid job there, but they've only given it to one singular arrow Gnorp. I feel that's a little bit unfair. What about the other Gnorps? They're gonna feel very, very left out at this point. My goodness, these directors need some directing in how to not leave people feel excluded. Scallywags, bad managers. Right, have we found the chosen yet? Oh, we have! There they go! Maybe it was attached to the compression event. There the chosen goes, floating elegantly across to the rock. So much stuff. And let's have a watch. Whomp. Right, okay. So the chosen is just attacking the rock now. If we have a look at the damage, the chosen is doing a lot of damage. An awful lot of damage there. Okay, we've got new accords have been unlocked. So We found the chosen. The Accord Reversal. Reclaim fewer shards, rock. When the rock reclaims shards, 50% of the shards are instead flung back into the pile. You can only have one Accord active at a time, though. We can have overdrive. Now, one thing to be aware of, unlike a lot of things where you unlock stuff once and then can switch around them, you have to spend 4 Gnorps every time to activate these. So it's kind of a pain, honestly. Overdrive. When reaching overdrive thresholds, a sword appears and deals 3% of all damage dealt the last minute as pure damage, which means it's unaffected by the multiplier or statuses. Overdrive multiplier is now always at maximum, and clicking no longer increases the overdrive bar, but overdrive progress is automatically gained over time. So basically, this would always be at whatever max multiplier it's meant to be at, but then over time, it would just casually fill up a separate bar, and then when that happened, a sword would appear and would do 3% of all damage dealt in the last minute. Finally, we have power. Gnorp Caliber can empower the inanimate. Damage unaffected by the multiplier is now affected by the multiplier at 13% efficiency. You can only have one of these active at a time. The current multiplier is 1.73. I mean, that is kind of amazing, but I think it's going to be overdrive. We're going to get overdrive on the go. We're also going to get singular shockwave, enriched puke, and then as soon as we can, amplified observation. All weak spot discovery increased by 40% per active director with a maximum of 3 times. Enriched puke. Acid now multiplies damage by 2, up from 1.5, and then singular shockwave. We've already read that one, but let's go and have a quick gander at how that affects our hulks at this point, because of course the hulks are now there we go, that's just filled up. We should see, there we are, Gnorp Caliber just showed up and attacked the rock a bit. Whomp. That was not a bad one. Actually, Gnorp Caliber is showing up quite a lot at this point. Whomp. This is helping to compile all of the shards over here. I wonder if the hulks can get to the point where they're the ones throwing the shards into the stash. That would be pretty cool, if I'm honest. Though I think we're going to need at least one more big upgrade before we can get to that point. That big upgrade would be, I believe, somewhere down here. Where are we? Infinite reverberation. The ground trembles. Shockwaves no longer diminish based on distance traveled. Right now, the shockwaves are getting smaller regardless of what's happening, just because they've traveled a certain distance. So with that one active, the hulks could potentially cause a shockwave that would reach the stash. That would be pretty amazing, if you ask me. All right, what do we want to invest in now? Is there anything? Oh, we want to get amplified observation, of course. We've also got... Well, we don't need any more there. We could get teleportation, but I'm not really sure that is where we want to be putting our effort. Instead, I'm going to get the Geet protocol up a little bit more. That's right, additional housing, of course. Perhaps I shouldn't have spent that on the Geet protocol. Oh well, it's fine. We're making stupid amounts of cash, so that shouldn't be a problem for us. We do need to get one more house built though before I can do additional housing. Shame I didn't notice that. I completely forgot that we hadn't already unlocked it. But the fact that we're bringing in so many new arrows is actually kind of wild. Our arrow Gnorps are now, our archer Gnorps are never having to stop firing. That is pretty bloody huge. Our collection is now drastically below our damage output. Let's have a look. What are we up to? We're at the 7th compression event, though. We want to get a little bit further than that, certainly. Well, given that, then, as soon as I've got enough, there we go, additional housing. That's going to give us a whole heap of Gnorps. And at this stage, I'm thinking we want to get some more runners, quite badly, actually. Plus 10% geek chance per active director on the rock. That is a pretty solid one. And we're just going to push this all the way up to 30 runners, I think. Let's get that all the way up there. And while we're doing that, let's increase the amount that our runners can carry as well. 30 is where I'm going to stop for now. I feel that we went way too aggressively in on runners last time. I mean, that being said, the more runners, the more they get stuff back to the rockets, and the more rockets, the more damage. So, I mean, there is a use to it, but I think maybe we went a little bit too far. That being said, I think maybe going all the way up to 40 should be good. Yeah, Yeah, sure. 40. We can't say that 40 is too much. No, it's fine. Our collection is now getting close to what the actual damage amount is. And I'm just waiting on some more capacity. And every now and then the sword shows up and does enormous amounts of damage to the boulder, which is absolutely fantastic. The Hulks are actually doing a good job. I like it, though. I'm thinking that maybe turning them off until we get to the point where we have the ability for them to just project their shockwave all the way to the stash would be the best thing to go for. The next upgrade's probably looking at the rockets. We've got everything else we realistically need. If we have a look back down here, is there anything else we want to go for? I mean, I could get the Academy, I could get robotics, I may as well unlock them, even if I don't do anything with them. Weak spot is always a wonderful one, so let's get that one unlocked. Ultra Boost, is there any point in Ultra Boost at this stage? I would argue that there isn't, but I mean that has unlocked a lot of things. But let's go ahead and get. Oh, sure, we'll pop 5 Gnorps into Ultra Boost. I'm just doing it because I can at this point, if I'm perfectly honest. Let's go all the way up to 30 bombers, though. That is going to give us an awful lot of timey-wimey shenanigans going on. Let's get 5 rifle Gnorps as well. We need the sticky floral residue and the Gnorp ammo. That's going to take us a little bit to get to, though, but as long as I don't drop our Gnorp amount below 5, then we shouldn't be spending all of that money on any more housing for the time being, which will be an important one. I think waiting on getting a Gnorp the sticky floral residue or the Gnorp ammo is important, but I think sticky floral residue first. Otherwise, the Gnorp ends up quite far outside of the colony limits before they stop shooting, and they take a long time to walk back. So I think maybe that would be the better way to go. Ooh, are we seeing our first shockwave events happening there? I think we might be. You know, I think that might be the first seismic events causing the shards to get all the way across there. That's actually kind of cool. I really, really like that. How many observers have we got on top right now? We've currently got 2, so that means we're increasing the Geet chance by 20%. So we're up to 50% of all shards made are going into the rockets, which is quite amazing. We will, of course, be upgrading these a lot soon. We're still barely even moving the prestige bar, though. So we've got a lot of damage that we need to be outputting, or rather, we've got a lot of collection that we need to be outputting, because our collection is drastically behind our damage. Okay, maybe I was holding back a little bit too much. Let's get some more runners out there then for the time being. Right, we're almost up to the point of getting the sticky floral residue. I'm going to go ahead and let a little bit of time pass and go make myself a cuppa while I allow enough shards to accrue for us to get sticky floral residue, the Gnorp ammo, and probably start our work on upgrading the rockets. I shall bring you back when there is more to report. Okay, we've now got 2 upgrades. That is 1 on each of the stages of our rockets. We've got all of the upgrades at gun and rock. And my goodness, we had another compression event as well. So we're up to the current tier of 8 of 10. Our carriers are never stopping, which is quite wonderful to see, but we still need a lot more carrying capacity. We're currently up to a damage rate of 23.6 million shards and a meager collection rate of only 3.7. So you know what we need right now? We need a Gnorp. Let's get you out there. I would also like to just invest in all of this. There was no point in me getting Mountaineer achievement. We're never going to have Mountaineers. In fact, in terms of drones, probably not going to have them either. But at this stage, drones are actually kind of nice for one reason above all others. Drones cost shards, not population. And right now, population is a little bit harder. Also, they carry a very fixed amount. Our Gnorp over here at the Rocket Lab has never skipped leg day. Our Gnorp's life at the Rocket Lab is leg day. That Gnorp is the pure embodiment of leg day. We must all stand in awe. They're almost as awe-worthy as the Chosen One over here, occasionally attacking a massive boulder with a sword and winning. Right, we're up to a multiplier now of 10.8, which is actually quite nice, and we're finally starting to see our collection increasing. The Gnorp is doing a fantastic job, by the way. On that note, I would like the Express Club to maybe switch over to the Gnorp and collecting instead. Furthermore, I'm just going to start investing in the Git protocol directly rather than worrying about other things. I think the Gnorp is going to benefit enormously from this simply because they are spending so much, so much seems such a wrong way to say less than. They're spending far less time. I really do need to read more English books. I fell off the train so hard over like the 2022, 2023, and it has genuinely impacted my vocabulary. The trials and tribulations of a second language English speaker. So much more less. I hate myself. Nevertheless, we are getting along, and we are moving towards ever closer towards that lofty Tier 9 compression event, which would actually be quite amazing to see. Can we get some more Git? We can indeed. Oh, look at that. Collection is up to 18 million, 19 million now. I am liking that an awful lot. Let's go ahead and get 5 more runners. We're up to 50 runners now. That's kind of impressive. In terms of our drones, wouldn't mind a couple more of these now that we're actually gathering them at a reasonable pace. And to be fair, they are collecting quite a lot when you look at it. So maybe if we can get all the way up to 10 drones, that'll be worth the investment, frankly. I don't think... Well, honestly, if we use another Zybellium for another Gnorp, given what one Gnorp is doing, that would probably push us over the point where we are collecting as fast as we're capable of damaging. At that stage, I'd probably get rid of the Hulks completely, and maybe that is the play to make. We always need more rockets, of course, so that's always worth me investing in. Let's go for more X rockets, and then, okay, well, very briefly, we saw the potential of getting a Y rocket, but we are bringing in so much now that this is really not a problem. We bring in enough to upgrade our current Y rocket in 1 minute, no matter where we were at with that, so that should be fine, and we're always getting more housing as well, which is always grand. We're up to 30 million collection. Just goes to show how much we need for that single prestige point. Now, we need 2 prestige points before we get up to the next level, before we unlock the newest toys. Over here, multiply growth. But once you get to that point, realistically, you are just going to win, because your multiplier is just going to... If you just wait, like if you were struggling to get through the game, just leave it run for an afternoon. You will get through that at that point. Right, so let's go ahead and... well, actually, looking at this, if we could get to there, then I would probably get the infinite reverberation and then Gnorp Caliber Unleashed. Because at that point, you can have all of the accords running at the same time, which is actually pretty amazing. Do we want to increase this any further? We're more or less at the collection limit for us right now. Let's go ahead and upgrade Git protocol a little bit more. That took all of our Gnorp, so we're going to be spending quite a lot on increasing the housing again, unfortunately. But that's just the way that one's going to go. We could then start investing in getting another 5 drones. That would also definitely help. But we're starting to approach the point where we need more damage output. We're still ahead of the collection by a little bit, and the more we invest in rockets, the more that will always be the case, because especially if our collection is largely done by runners, then they will in turn cause more rockets to be launched. Notice how they're not delivering any shards to the rocket lab, because it is completely chock-a-block. We need to let more time pass before... Ah, there we go. So now they can start dropping some more in, and it's already full. So they go back to just regular collection for now. We're up to 12.2 times multiplier, and showing no signs of slowing down, which I'm very, very pleased with. All right, I'm going to continue increasing our drone numbers up to about 10, and then we're going to review where we sit in terms of our damage versus collection, and start drawing a new plan of how to get over the prestige threshold. Okay, we just got our first prestige point as I was upgrading the capacity of our runners. I've invested quite a lot of our Gnorps into bombers now. We've got 40 bombers working. We have got 10 drones also helping out, and we haven't upgraded the rockets any further from where they were last time. But there we go. We're up to 40 capacity now for our runners. They are doing a staggeringly good job, to be fair to them. There are just an endless stream of rockets at this point. I can only imagine that it isn't actually the best place to live around here. I don't know what kind of fumes the fuel from these rockets are off-gassing, but I can't imagine that it's particularly a nice environment for the Gnorps living right next to it. I am slowly building up our rifle Gnorps, trying to aim for 10, nice big round number. Our current damage is more or less, well, sometimes it's lagging behind, sometimes it's a little bit over, but it feels like we are now at the point where increasing our collection is not going to be the play that we need to go for. We need to increase the damage. So that's probably going to be rockets, and of course me increasing the rifle Gnorps because I want a round number, damn it. I can't just leave it sat at 7 when I have the ability to take it to 10. Over here though, we have got a good bit of progress going. Again, this is now damage locked, I think. So ultimately, to see if we can get up to the 2 prestige points we need, it's all going to come down to whether or not we are capable of increasing our damage by a fair amount at this stage, I must say. Now, part of that might come down to using power, because right now, all of our rockets don't gain any benefit from multipliers. But what if they did? It would cost me 4 Gnorps to find out. And right now, overdrive seems like the better one because it's based on 3% of all the damage dealt in the last minute. I can't imagine that my rockets and my arrows, well, I guess my rocket arrows do actually benefit from the multiplier. So realistically, it's only 1 or 2 things that don't benefit from the multiplier. I kind of feel that overdrive is the better one right now, but maybe this is going to be something that we can trial and just see if that pushes us over the limit. Let's increase our X rockets up to 7 though. This is actually a big upgrade at this point because every one of the Y rockets just got an extra X rocket to launch, so hopefully we're going to start seeing our damage output go up a fair old bit at that point. And you may have also noticed that I have turned off hulks. Until we get infinite reverberation, I don't think hulks are the right play for us. We just want to focus on the directors and on the acid. And in fact, the consequence of that is we had 4 active directors for a moment there. That was actually really quite nice. We might even get more out of it if we went 4 runners. But do we need any more geek chance? I don't think so, based on what we're seeing over here. I mean, it might allow us to move the pile a little bit faster, since they will still geet into the stash, so that does allow things to be a little bit more efficient, but I can't imagine it being that big of an improvement for us. We could always get more drones as well, but again, we are more damage locked right now than collection locked. So going to save up to get Y rockets up to the next level, which it should happen in just a moment actually, and then it's going to be a long while before we can see X rockets upgrade again. That is probably where I'm going to focus on getting the rifle Gnorps up there. But let's go ahead and unlock that. Wow, both of them are up in the 3, it's going on 400 million range. That being said, I'm gathering about 67, probably going to be up around 70 million a minute. So I can probably give it 5 or so minutes to see what we can do once I've got all of the rifle Gnorps, which itself is going to take me a little while, so we'll see how that one goes. Alright, well, I'll bring you back when there's, once again, more to report. So many rockets. Okay, there we go. We've just increased the X rockets up to match the Y rockets. We now need 1.9 G. Okay, that's probably not going to be happening. We haven't even yet got the rifle Gnorps all the way up there because it's starting to get very expensive. However, looking at the damage graph, I am increasingly in favor of trying out power over overdrive. And the reason for that is that right now our multiplier is up at 2.59. So we would be multiplying rockets at the very least by 2.59 their current output of damage. And I think that is going to dwarf all of the damage that we're getting from overdrive. So, time for us to do this. This will also affect a couple of other things as well. So let's go ahead and press it in. Let's see how this affects things. We're, in fact, going to be treated to a glance of that in just a second as well. Oh, and I think it may have triggered that just before. Yes, it did. That was an awful... That has almost pushed us all the way up to a compression event. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. We're up 121 million damage now. Of course, part of that is from freeze and the acid as well. Yep, okay, so that was definitely the one that we needed to go for. That is going to give us enough now for us to start increasing our collection. At least... we could increase it up to 3 times what we've currently got based on our current output of damage. Alright, that does put us within range, I think, of being able to get a second prestige point. I am all for that. Now, how are we going to achieve this is the question. What do we use the Cybelium on? Let's bring it a little bit closer, though, regardless. Okay, maybe not then. Let me just send it the other way. Let me try and just coax it closer by nudging it with my mouse. There we go. That's a little bit closer. Right, let's try and bring this in again. It's actually fantastically hard to notice whether I'm doing a good job or not. Right, okay, so... Arrows, we've got stupid amounts. I could get another Gnorp, but honestly, the Gnorps are not doing anything of value here. We've also got a lot of baby drones helping out. We've lost all of the adult drones, sad to say. I'm thinking maybe another Gnorp. The only other thing is, well, if we had tall clusters for drones, is dirty thrusters. I'm not going to showcase how that works here. I don't think it would be worth our while right now. But in the next run, I think that's what we're going to go for. I think I would like to showcase how dirty thrusters affect things. We could get a couple of drones perhaps, but I think ultimately another Gnorp is the right move. That one Gnorp would massively increase our collection. Can we do anything else beside that? Well, we can always get some more runners, and that's never a bad idea, I guess, at this point. So sure, let's get the runners, because that, of course, is also going to help out the Gnorps as well. Let's go all the way up there to 60. Alright, have we collected? No, we're a little ways off from collecting, but that's fine. We're up to 215 million damage per minute. Oh my lord, our collection has got a long way to go. Alright, well, overdrive definitely wasn't the play to be making there. It was power all the way. Lesson learned. Now, I will get a couple more drones out, but we're going to get the Gnorp active first before we get down to that. And with 2 Gnorps active, I can't imagine we're going to struggle too much. Wow, we're almost all the way up to a level 10 compression event. Are we going to see that on this run? I would be impressed, if I'm honest. That would actually be kind of cool. Alright, let's get the Gnorp out there and start investing in drones for now. 5 is a good place to start with, since they're also going to be helping out the Gnorps increase their carrying capacity. Let's take it all the way up to 10, though. Again, nice big round numbers. Right. We've got a while before we can increase the Y rockets, but right now we don't need to increase our damage. We need to increase collection by a fairly large amount, but look at that climbing already. Okay, I'm reasonably confident we're going to be able to hit the second level within my lifetime, within a reasonable amount of time. I will bring you back just before we hit the second prestige point. Okay, we are right about ready to get the second prestige point, and in fact, I'm fairly certain if I just pop a couple of extra runners on the job, we are going to get there. There we go. We would be able to see a compression event. I'm fairly certain we would be able to get compression event with the good timing of vulnerability just after freezing, along with acid as well. Whether we will see that or not, I'm not at all sure. Well, actually, that might be enough. No, it's a little ways off from it. But I think at this point, it is time for us to go ahead and prestige. Am I going to prestige without having 10 drones? Or 10 rifle Gnorps? Yes, we are. It is a dark day, but it is the day that we find ourselves with. However, I'm not going to prestige with 1 Gnorp left over. There we go. Alright, time to prestige. We've had a good run here. That was a shock, though, the amount of increased damage that we were able to pull in by switching over to power instead of overdrive. And it's all based on being able to see the relative damage that we were pulling in over there. This graph is very, very useful, to be fair. Right, there we go. Let's see all of this get put in place. There we are. Oh, the sword is in the boulder. That's quite cool. I had noticed that before. Right, okay, we've got 17... 17, I guess, prestige tokens to apply, or rather 2 more to apply. First and foremost, we're going to go with Gnorp Caliber, Unleashed. Unlock the full might of Accords. All Accords can be active at the same time. That's going to push us well past any reasonable amount of damage output. We could go for Infinite Reverberation, but let's have a look at a couple of the other ones. Operation Pocket Rocket Time Shift Retainment. Bombers are not happy with pocket rockets leaving their rocket pockets. So if you insert a point into this socket, you can make it so that the pocket rockets are kept in the rocket pockets when the bombers hit reverse on the clock. Pocket rockets now work with time shift impact, accumulating pocket rockets on every hit. In addition, bombers get +1 rockets generated per time shift impact. We've got Agitated Zybe. We need more Zybellium. Unlock the Zybellium Agitator at the Rock Analysis Lab. The Zybellium Agitator allows for the generation of an extra Zybellium during compression events within 5 minutes of the previous one, up to 3 times. So it would give us 3 extra Zybellium to spend. As an added bonus, the balloon moves thrice as fast. Thank Gnorp. Drone capacity. Drones get more capacity and they spawn more baby drones, but at a cost. 2 times capacity to drones. Drones now spawn 2 baby drones on death, up from 1, and descent speed is reduced by 50%. Or Modern Warfare. The Rifle Gnorps decided that bullets are for dummies and replaced them with grenades. With grenade launchers unlocked, Rifle Gnorps will now shoot grenades instead of bullets. Marvelous. Multiplier growth is unlocked. The multiplier grows by itself. Gain up to 4 times increase to the multiplier over time. Starts at 1, increases by 0.1 for every 6 minutes that you're playing. Now, the question is, there are a couple of things here that are fun. That one would be fun. Definitely. Also, since we make use of Gnorp so much, don't eat that. Stop it. Drop it. Drop it. Drone, please, stop. Gnorps also gain energy from what the drones consume. They're upset, so they try to compensate for the drones' misdeeds. I would like to see what the Hulks could do, but realistically, they don't even contribute to the Gnorps, and the Gnorps make out the majority of our ability to pull in shards, so I'm not sure that would be a good one spent. We're of course going for Gnorp Caliber, but I kind of like the idea of us shooting grenades instead of bullets, frankly, because that would in turn help with the weak spot generation. Over here, drone capacity, I'm not too interested in that one. The Operation Pocket Rocket Time Shift Retainment is fun, mostly just because you can read the tooltip, but I think we're going to go for Modern Warfare. Let's go ahead, apply that. If we end up prestiging again, then we will play around with some of the other things. We will definitely play around with Infinite Reverberation, but that is a big ask, because we may well find that by the time that we prestige the last time, we'll actually win the game. So stay tuned to find out whether the next episode is the last episode. I guess you'll know based on the title, because I'll probably put something like finale or something in there. But that is going to be it from me and the Gnorps for today. I really do hope you have enjoyed this episode of a Gnorp Apologue, and I hope you look forward to the next just as much as I do. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.